What's up, my loves? I'm back with another 10-minute tea tutorial and template. Say that 10 times fast. We are going to get into it. This one is a grunge background with a watermarked logo and then an effect on the foreground photo. So what I'm going to show you all to do, let's see, it is 10:59 right now. Let's see how fast we can change this player and background out. The first thing that I would do is I'm going to go ahead and show you remove BG, so I can show you from the bottom to the top how this goes. I am going to go ahead and log in so I'll show you what it looks like if you're allowed to do the full resolution images. I already have my images cut out, but I want to show you that if you were really doing this in real time, how likely you would be able to get this done in 10 minutes, especially when you get better and better. So I'm going to go to remove background, and these are the ones that I've already cut out for today, but I'm going to do it again. So I take my photo, I'll show you from my folder. I'm going to find the photo on my folder and drag it into this window. Let's see, so we got him. I'm going to drag it, drop it on that window, let it work its magic, make sure everything looks clean, cut out well, and for me, I will download the full image. Now, I'm not going to download it now, only because I've already downloaded and used a credit, but what I want you to understand is going to save it the exact same pixels as the original image, and that is extremely important because now at this point in time I have my remove BG version and I have the one with the background. So I'm going to control select both of those, drag them onto my artboard, hit enter and enter. That's going to bring both of those images in. Before I do anything else, I'm going to select the both of them. I hit control and selected the second one when I had one already selected. Then I'm going to link these. You see that chain down here at the bottom? If you hover over it, it says link layers. That way when I move one, it moves the other. When I resize it, it's all going to be good. So speaking of resize, I am going to resize my image, and I'm going to show you what I love to see. What I love to see is the foreground image kind of pop out from the background a little bit. So we're going to make that happen the same way her hand was sticking out from the background. So we're going to drag the foreground layer right underneath the current foreground. And this background layer, let's drag it down to beneath the current background layer. Now, these images are not going to come with your template because I don't own them and I don't have permission to use them. But you can imagine you can pull whatever you need to pull in here. I'm just showing you how quick you can do it. Let's see. Let's go ahead and grab the information from the smart filter from the original image, and we're going to drag it onto our new image. So to do that, we're going to hold down Alt. We're going to hold down the finger over smart filters. You see it turns into a double arrow. That means it's duplicating some information, and we're going to drop it right on top of Messi. Alright, and if we want to see what it did to Messi, we could turn the eyeball on and off, and you see it just adds this really cool effect to it. So much different than the original image, and this is done on purpose because I want to show you how these filters affect high resolution and low resolution images. So now that we have this one done, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the visibility for our girl star athlete, and we've got Messi here. He's hanging out of the box. I like that. We got the logo there. We'll change that in just a second. And the background image. So I do have a blurred background on here as a smart filter. It's got a motion blur on it. However, his background's already blurred. So if I take off this one, you can see that his background's already blurred, but if you wanted to apply that same effect, you absolutely could. I'm just not going to do it in this case because it's not going to show much of a difference. So I will show you on the next example that will blur that background. And this is just to show you that when you get a template, you don't have to do everything the template says. Like you use it as a tool. So this one, I have a accent element, and I just saw that he had Nike on his uniform, so I basically took that same accent element and I have two versions of the logo. One logo is cropped inside of the background, and then the other logo is on top of it. So it has a little less opacity. I can turn the opacity all the way up. I can turn it down. But now this has the option to pop out. And it's linked, so if I move one, it's going to move the other. But I like it when certain elements pop out from the frame. I don't like everything in a box. And you know I already don't like square boxes, so that's why we have this cool grungy frame here. So I might bring that a little bit lower just to kind of make that contrast. And that's the design. That's a wrap. That's a 10-minute tea. Let's move on. Let's do another one. Let's do... I have LeBron over. Oh, let me tell you something else that you have to do. Because these filter effects do affect the border around it, if you find yourself getting, and here's my example here, because I was getting ready to prep this, and I was like, why do I have this gray box around here? If you see that, it's because some of the filters that you're using are applying outside of the PNG. So what we have to do is create a layer mask for that, and the way that you do it is you hold down Control. You see your arrow turns into a finger with a marching ants box. That means it's going to make a selection. So I just clicked on my thumbnail, and you have to make sure you click on the thumbnail, and it completely contoured whatever's in that layer. Now I'm going to hit add a layer mask, and all of a sudden my edges are brightening up because whatever that effect was has now cleaned up just to the image, and you can tell that it has some stuff going on where it was radiating from the inside of the image out. So we don't have that problem anymore with that box, and that was my solution. That's why I had to re-record this video, because I realized it after I did it. But yeah, so that is a part of the process too. And like I said, this is our 10-minute tea. We are done. Let me move that. And we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and export as PNG just so I have something to show you guys. And this is Messi, it's Messi's PNG. Wait a minute, it's not a PNG if I don't take off the background. So do that if you want to save your files as PNGs. And I do this because when I edit these templates, I don't like to have a whole bunch of versions of it, and usually I can recreate rather quickly. So we'll do Messi. That's what Messi's going to look like. And also the coupon code for today, we're going to do $5 off this template. It is going to be Messi, M-E-S-S-I. I hope I'm saying his name right. Messi 5. And that will take $5 off of this template for 24 hours only. Then it goes back up to regular price. So you all take advantage of that. And I remembered not to say it at the end of the video, so you will have to watch this one to really get that one. Alright, so let's move on to our next layout. Let's grab LeBron. I have LeBron dunking here. Same thing as I said before. I'm going to, now I can shift select these because they're right by one another, but I say Control because if they're not right by one another, let's say I wanted that one and this one, I can hold Control and grab two non-consecutive images if I hold down Control. Let's drag it onto our artboard, and you already see there's going to be a problem here because when I look at my background image, it doesn't span the top and bottom here. So we have an image that's going to give us a little trouble because of the layout and orientation. It's more of a landscape when we need more of a portraitscape. Alright, so let's get into it. What's the first thing I told you to do? Select both and link them. Okay, now that we have them linked, I'm going to take my foreground image and drag it below the existing foreground image so that I remember to copy and paste the smart filter. And then let's grab the background image for LeBron and drag it underneath the current background image. It automatically clips to this mask. Now, when we do, before we resize this thing, well, let's go ahead and resize. Control T, and I'm going to show you some limitations of this graphic. Because LeBron's wingspan is so vast and amazing, it's only going to allow us to get him so big without running off the edge of the paper, which gives us a little bit of a problem because our layer mask is not that big. Now we can change our layer mask to shrink it down, or we can add a little bit of a quote-unquote background image. So let's go ahead and apply our filter first so we can get rid of the image that we don't want to see. So let's expand. Over here on the right hand side, we're just expanding these effects. We're going to take the smart filter, hold down Alt, drag it over LeBron. Let it do its thinking thing, and then we'll turn off the visibility for Messi. And look at that. Look at those effects. This is so cool to me. Okay, so also, I may want to move LeBron over a little bit. Oops, I'm messing with Messi. I want to be on LeBron. And I'm going to go ahead and close up my smart filter so I don't see all of that when I'm not working on it. So that looks about right to me. That's where I want it to be. I can go ahead and turn on my white background layer too. While I'm working, it helps me to see the transparency a lot better without that checkerboard in the background. And you see, this is what we're working with. Now the background image, we'll go ahead and turn off the one for Messi. And then, of course, you see LeBron's dunk background image. It cuts off abruptly. So let us add a new blank layer in here. And we're just going to do a straight up, because it fades pretty much. Let's see. I'm going to do black, or we can pick from the background here. So I'm going to do black just because it's simpler to do that. We'll choose the gradient tool, and if you see the fill bucket or the paint bucket, the gradient is right there with it. So you just hold it down and choose the appropriate one. I'm going to do a gradient. You know I love gradients. And I'm going to be on my new layer. So I'm going to drag this from the top, but I was on the image. I want to make sure that you're on the image. So I'm on my image, and then I'm holding down Shift to keep it straight. And then that way it kind of blends that image in. And yes, it adds black. So you could have chosen any color. We could have chosen white or any other color. I chose black just because my mask is already black. And I have some effects here that if I want to change it, it'll change it all together. So actually, I didn't realize the little Nike check is appropriate in this case because he has on his Nike there. So I can take, but I want to do, I think I want to do the other logo. So let me double click on the logo, and I'm going to put on the Lakers logo. Okay, and this shows you how easy this is to change this out for your schools. All right, I might drag this one up yonder. So his wingspan kind of accentuates that logo. That looks so cool to me. Okay, and then for the background, I want to apply the filter effect that I had on our girl athlete here. So I'm going to hold down Alt, click my smart filter, drag it onto LeBron, and we'll see what that one does. It was a, nope, that's, oh goodness. I actually made a mistake, but that looks so hot. So basically what I did was I added the smart filter on top of the existing smart filter, so it intensified that smart filter. That was a mistake, but that's a really good mistake to make in front of you guys, because now you can see if you wanted to intensify that effect, just take the same smart filter and drag it on top of that again. So I'm going to keep it, you know what, I think I did like that. Let me I'm going to keep that. You know, sometimes we make mistakes and the mistakes look good. All right, so we'll keep that. What's next? I was going to have my logo in there. I'm going to show you. So I have these gradient fill and color fill layers, and this is an option. Let's say you want the background to not look so substantial. Oh, that's what I was supposed to be doing. Yeah, so we'll take those off for a second. Let me show you the blur option first. So the blur option is on this image. It is a smart filter, but I was on the foreground instead of the background. So I'm going to drag the smart filter from our young soccer player and place it onto LeBron. And you'll see the effect that I was trying to show you, where I messed up, but I didn't mess up, was this motion blur. And if I want to see the effect of this motion blur, I can double click on the word motion blur and change my settings. I can even change the angle So let's say I wanted it to look like it was going more at a steep angle. I can change that angle. I can make it go side to side. Like if it's football and it's somebody running, you might want it to go side to side. And then you can change how extreme that motion blur is too. So this is something fun for you to play with. I'm going to make it go up because it looks like he's just rising up in the air. And then if this happens to be like an old season photo, like whoever's back here in the background doesn't play anymore or whatever, it doesn't matter because it blurred out. He is obviously in awe because he's like smiling, looking up. That's really funny to see that in photos. All right, so I'm happy with that. But let me show you something else. Let's see here. We wanted to do a color background. So for instance, right now, this was the color of the soccer player's uniform, of the young lady soccer player's uniform. If I wanted to change that to purple instead, I have that option. And of course, my purple is a little subdued, so I can intensify it, and I have that option now. Isn't that like really cool? Really quick effect, and it made a huge difference. I also have the gradient, so I can go to my gradient, double click it, and right now it's the school colors, so I can go to my gradient swatch, choose my first stop, and maybe choose the purple. And of course, like I said, that purple isn't exactly what I wanted, so I'm going to make it what I want. And then let's choose gold color. That was a little too orange. And let's say I want more purple than gold. And sometimes what I do, if two colors don't blend well, these are contrasting colors here, so I'm going to put white in the middle. I call them complementary colors. So like blue and orange, purple and yellow, they make good team colors because they're complementary colors, but sometimes blending them together, all you're going to get is a nasty brown. So what I'll do in a lot of those instances is just put white or black in between them, and that tends to give it a little bit of a better gradation there. So that's my gradient, that's my color, and then that's without any color applied. So the blend mode that I have selected here is color, and I want you all to see that you can play with these blend modes. Don't just take, this is normal, so this just put the purple layer over everything. Then I can go and play, I use my down arrow, I'm going multiply, color burn, darker color, lighten, screen, and I think the one that we settled on was color because it kind of makes everything black and white and then applies the color to it. But there's also so many options here, like hue keeps everything black, but where there's a tad bit of color in the grayscale, it makes it purple. So you might like that one because you want to keep the black effect. This one is the color. I like that one a little bit better. So we have that effect. And that's it, guys. We just did 2 design changes for our 10-minute tease. I showed you some cool extra effects on this one. We even learned that we can apply double smart filters and get a more intense effect. I think that's it. I will go ahead and upload this one. Remember what that coupon code is from earlier, and I will make this one available for you today. Oh, let's not forget this step. This step that is very important because I see my gray border that I'm going to have. You will not notice it in this step until you drag it or you print it, and you're going to say, where's this gray box coming from? What do we need to do? We need to go to our image, hold down control, let it turn into the marquee, click that thumbnail, and then we need to create, and I want you to see, maybe that gray is going to go away right in front of your face. Let's click on the new layer mask and see how that whitened and cleaned that up around there. That's what you want. And then we can turn off the background layer and go ahead and real quick export that as a PNG for you. And then I can replace my LeBron. Yes, replace LeBron. Alright guys, so that is it for today. Wrapping up this 10-minute tutorial. Like I said, if I get enough votes or comments underneath the video, I'll show you how to create it from scratch. But for now, I'm doing 10-minute templates to encourage you all to get to photoshopping, get to honing your skills, not being afraid of these effects, and making your money, especially locally. Get out there, and it's basketball season. Show off, do an artwork for free. Just take a Facebook photo of one of your friends' kid that they're showing off and say, hey, do you mind if I use this photo to create a mock-up? And get their picture, put it in there, and if they're looking like LeBron is right now, come on, what parent is not going to want to buy that shirt? I'm going to tell you what makes this really popular: when the kids want to buy the shirt, especially the boys. When the boys want their own picture on the shirt, that means you have a hot design. Otherwise, they're embarrassed and they're like, nah, Mom, don't wear that. But this is one they will want to wear. They want it on a poster. They'll want it in their room, all of that. So let me know if you have any questions. Comment on this video, because I want other people to see these questions too, so I don't have to repeatedly answer the same stuff. And we'll go from there, guys. I'll see you in a bit. Love you all. Bye now.